Hello, I'm Mr. Polk, and you're probably wondering why we're in my kitchen. And that's because I want to introduce our next project of these cookie cutters. And I'm so excited to make these with you. You can see that these are plastic cookie cutters. And what you'll be able to do is you're going to be able to design them on Onshape. I'll teach you all the little ways to do it. Export the files as an STL. And then at home, I'll be able to print them on the little toy box printer that I got. Your cookie cutter can be up to 3x3. And we'll be able to print it. And the nice thing is with the toy box, as I said during the unboxing video, is the toy box is designed to be kid-friendly, kid-safe. It's designed to get kids involved in STEM. Therefore, the material that they use is a non-toxic PLA. PLA plastic is derived from cornstarch versus petroleum. And it's recommended, safe for the cookie cutters. Their site has a whole bunch of little toys that you can download, and a lot of those are cookie cutters and food type things. So it all works hand in hand. And that's why it's going to be a lot of fun to make these cookie cutters. And you'll be challenged that you could make a simple cookie cutter where it just has the outline. Or what I'm going to challenge you to do is do one like this. And of course you can guess what it is. The Chevy bow tie. And what's nice about it is you can see that this is an embossing type cookie cutter. Some people call them stamp cutters. And that it'll cut the shape, but that it'll also emboss the letters. I also made another one that has a circle. And this is a 3x3 inch circle. So the biggest cookie you could make would be a 3x3 inch square. And then inside is embossed the Q for Quakertown, because I should hold it the right way. And what you can see with this one, because it's a lot larger, it's a little more open than the Chevy one, is you're going to have to, if this is a 1/2 inch high, you're going to have to put a little rim on the edge here to hold it. And then you're going to have to put in your stamp. And then you have to design some kind of a bridge work to hold it all together. So the nice thing about these is you'll actually be able to make cookies. So I have on the Canvas site the cookie dough recipe I'm using here, and if you follow the recipe or get some help or make it with a couple people, you'll be able to follow that pretty easy. It says cream the butter, the sugar, add the eggs, the milk, and the flour, and then I'm going to cut it into a small chunk. And then what I'm going to do is put a little bit of flour down, and I'm going to kind of take the chunk and just sort of get it into a little disc. And I like to start with a little flour on the board, and then put a little flour on top. And then I get the rolling pin. Now my Big Bertha rolling pin is at work, but I got the little guy here. It's working. And what you're going to look for is the thickness. Once you get about this far, I like to put a little flour. You don't want too much flour. And then I turn it over. And then now this is going to be my final side. Now, when you do this, you got to think about thickness. Thickness, honestly, is going to depend on your cookie cutter. It's going to be anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4. I found that the Chevy one, the 3/16 kind of worked well. I'm halfway in between 1/8 and 1/4. So just roll it out. You're going to find this dough is chilled, so it's nice to have it chilled out of the fridge. It's going to roll nice for you, and it's going to have a smooth texture, which is going to help with the imprint. Then what you're going to do is we can check it. There it is. So again, it's not that you're going to be able to see, but I'm somewhere around 3/16 of an inch. If I'm thicker than 1/4 for this cutter, that's not going to work. If I'm thicker than 1/8, I'm really not going to get the design that I want. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to put that back there. I am going to take one of my cutters, put them over here, and we'll start with the Chevy one. And one thing you want to do with these is put them in a little flour. Okay, so that it coats them in flour, but then give them a tap. Whether you tap in the bowl or you tap on the board, because you don't want all that excess flour. Okay, and then you're going to put the cutter on and press down. Now, one thing I've noticed is a lot of times when you're using a cookie cutter, you're used to giving it one of these. I find that if you do that, it sometimes makes it harder to release, and also it can mess with the design inside. So I'm just going to press down and pick up. And most of the times it is probably going to stick for you. And that's okay. You can try giving it a little tap tap. Sometimes a little tap, it starts to fall down. Or with this one, I find that I just take the edge of the ruler and I just give it just a little tap. Okay? And there you can see that it did a great job of printing out the Chevrolet. Let me just touch up the corner. And I'll do another one. Again, don't forget to hit the flour. Sometimes you can do 2. But it does get, it helps. Especially, this is making a nice deep indent. The deeper the indent, the nicer it's going to bake out. Okay. And then before these go on the cookie sheet to bake them, what I want to show you is a pretty cool method here, is that you can take them like this, and what I found is if you're going to use your sanding sugars, put your sanding sugar over top, but don't brush it with water or egg wash like you might be accustomed to doing. Let them dry and just give them a little shake. Okay, see how nice and deep the letters are? The red sticks right in there. And then I just take a little brush and just brush away the excess. And when these bake, you're just going to see the red Chevrolet. So if you wanted to make something with your college or your favorite sports team or anything like that, you'll be able to simply decorate these. And once these bake, they're good to go. I mean, you could break out the icing and do all kinds of fun stuff on them, but this is a nice way to just decorate them and get them ready to go. Now the Q, get rid of the red. The Q, we'll cut that guy. And what I find with this one is you could do it either way. You could, let me try to get it unstuck, there we go. Be gentle when you press them out. Now this one I find that I just put it on here. And what I do is I give it a gentle shake with the blue, and by the time it fills in the Q, it kind of has a little bit of it all over, just like that. And I think that looks really neat. It gives you a little bit of blue for Quakertown, but you can really see that Q. And we'll put that in there. So there you can see the Chevy cookie is a smaller cookie because it's a long and thin, okay? But if you do something, you can go up to a 3-inch circle, or again, if you really want full cookie, 3-inch square, and design something on that. And then the last one I'll show you is if you just wanted to do outline ones, okay? And that's what this one is. So this is just the bow tie by itself. And those I'll put right on. And if you wanted to just make those a solid color, you could simply, I usually like to use a little bit of water just to get the sugar to stick. Just give it a little brush. And then you just put the sanding sugar right over top. So make a nice little gold bow tie, like in the front of your truck. Alright, so that's how you make your cookies. And again, you know, you'll make your cutters. And here's the nice part, is what's going to happen is you're going to be able to design your cutters. I'll be able to print them. And then I'm going to package them up, take them to the post office. And I'm going to get them out and I'm going to get them sent to you. Now, with the cutters, let me just get that flour. So here's what those cookies will bake: 350 degrees, anywhere between 8 to 12 minutes. Honestly, it depends on size. Okay, if you have the larger cookies like the Q's, it might take a little bit longer, but the bow ties are smaller, they'll go a little faster. And then here you go. Here you can see what your final product's going to look like. Okay, so I think this is really neat. It goes from making a custom cookie cutter. You can see that we can really use this as a way to push the limits. With Onshape, as you design, I can look at it and I'll be able to help you come up with, you know, oh, that looks like a lot of detail, that might not work. Or to be honest with you, I'm willing to try it. And if it's too much detail, then we just have to go back a little bit. But you can see that the cookies, you can see the different types. This one has the Q with a little bit of the sugar, and then the sugar right inside the Q to outline it. And I think it's a really neat trick with the embossed cookies, how you can make a nice looking cookie, but it's not difficult to decorate. The idea of just sprinkling the sugar in is honestly the same as in the shop when we would make a sign, paint the letters, and then sand off the top. It's really the same principle. But here you can see that the Chevrolet, you know, the letters stick out. You can see I made a nice little tray with red and yellow ones, and then mixed in the ones that actually say Chevrolet. And here you can also see with the Q, if you just put sugar on all of it, Okay, so you could have a nice little mix of different designs. So hopefully you can understand what we're going to do for our first project. I'm excited to work on the first project with you guys now that we know Onshape. So I'm excited to get going, and I can't wait to start designing with you.